And why are you drawn to helping men turn their lives around? Because that's your tagline on your Instagram. Like, why is that why do you find that meaningful?
I find it meaningful because one, I could relate to it personally, and two, I think that there's a massive need for it. I think that there's still this kind of old school stereotypical take on what men should be doing and how they should be acting and how they should handle the problems that come about in their lives. And I think it's hard for men to want to express the things that they want to express because someone either told them that they can't do that or they're kind of bought into a story that's not true. And I kind of felt like, listen, there's a different way to go about this. And I want to be able to help guys get through those things. And a lot from my personal experience, in addition to my professional experience, say, hey, listen, these are the things I saw and learned. This is my training, but this is also what I've experienced personally. And I think one of the biggest things that I could I think it really resonates with other guys is that I talk to them. I say, listen, I tell them my backstory and I say, listen, it allows me to tell you these two words. And these two words that are really important to me is I understand. Like I understand, like based on my experience, like where you are now, where are you going through, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a career change, or whether it's taking a risk. And I think that's really kind of done well. And I think it's really resonated in a different approach, like you talked about before, with helping men.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand why men would need to be helped. Why do you think men need this kind of a thing, or a men's group, or these kinds of things?
I think especially nowadays, I think there's more stress on men than ever before. I think, society stresses, relationship stresses, kind of like there's a lot of, especially with, social media and the internet and seeing what other people are doing, thinking that we need to be more, not giving ourselves enough credit for what we're doing, thinking that we're not enough. I think the whole definition of, success and what it really takes to be a man is kind of like slanted, in my personal opinion. So I think it gets guys like they're starting off from a position of a deficit as opposed to being ahead. They feel like there's these expectations that they may never reach.
I can relate to that, and I see a lot of guys coming into men's group feeling that way for sure. And let's start with this topic. Okay, so like, if a guy is facing a challenge, and we'll get into some specific challenges later that guys in men's group tend to face, like saving a relationship or mindset or accountability or confidence or these kinds of things. But let's say a guy's coming to turn his life around. What does he need to know? Like, and turn his life around, meaning make some positive change, some bigger positive changes. What does he need to know at a high level?
He needs to know it's not going to be easy. He needs to know that he's going to have to make a change. He needs to know that it's going to require some consistency and accountability. He needs to know that he has the ability to do it, right? And I think there's probably a lot of people out there that men come across, a lot of other people, men, coaches, influencers, that almost tell people that they can't. They're kind of like, they set these unreasonable expectations of what it takes to succeed, and it automatically puts men into the thought process that they'll never get there. And it's like, it's just another thing that pushes them down further as opposed to lifting them up. And it's almost like counterintuitive, because you think like they're there to help men grow and build businesses and do all these great things. But in turn, they're making it harder for men, at least from a mental perspective, from what they hear and see, let's say over social media or something else, a video, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think the knowing that they need to make a change with their mindset and getting out of their comfort zone and taking action is really the key.
Yeah, and do you find a lot of guys feel resistance towards that? Because I see a lot of guys, especially getting in their middle age, coming into men's group, and luckily we get the guys that are more open than the average guy, but a lot of guys are very rigid in their mindset and in their perceptions of life and how they approach their life and the actions that they're taking to change things.
Yeah, I see that with men a lot. And I think it's a matter of like, kind of what I'll tell you, Sean, is like, we only know what we know, right? So it's like, if that's the way we've always lived and that's the story we've always been told, either from someone else or by ourselves, that's the way we'll continue to live. And until we really kind of figure out like there's a better way to do it, or you get to the point where the pain is just really kind of so great that you know that you need to make a change, that's going to be the spark that lights the fire for you to want to take the next step and be more open to the things that you were for a long time against.